So basically, we were discussing what we were discussing here in previously is about BA of BI, understanding what BI is all about, role of a BA, and elaborating more on the role and how a BA need to perform those roles so that the BA should be able to gather requirements properly, and then in overall aspect from the organization perspective, that what BA should be looking from the top to bottom approach over there, and then further what this one what business analysis is looking at in terms of within an organization, how the from the low level data to how the governance should come in place for the business analysis and BI perspective over there, because it's quite important for BI can give a lot of information, but if it is not governed properly, the whole result or end result, it can give information to the wrong hands also. So that is where we have the governance and proper architecture in place. When we are talking about the enterprise-wide situation for departmentals, we are not that much worried because departmentals are less number of users over there. So when I understand now that sorry. So now when I understand that, okay, I am responsible for the business analysis from the top to bottom approach, and I need to make sure that my data is governed or my structure is properly made and all those things. So how I'm going to start doing the business analysis. So first thing I need to understand and have the very quite clarity in terms of two things. As a BA, there, because I'm an intermediary between the two sides. I'm an intermediary between the users and the BI developers. So I need to understand users perspective, how they are creating the data and what are the sources we are talking about. So source word itself, people get confused. So a lot of time, so that's where what is source system all about? So source system is all about where we capture the data, where we capture the information. It can be in the form of Excel. Now, to simplify more, the data capture will be in the form of, like, you even record on a piece of paper, like, okay, you organize name, address, phone number, and telephone number and email address and all those things. So that is one of the data capture. Now that data have to be either it can be in the file of for a computer systems, it can be in the form of file, text file, Excel file, or a database file in a tabular format. Nowadays we are also generating the data related to like videos and all those things. So that when it comes uh, on the videos and IoT and all those things, I will keep it out of the BI topic because that comes under big data, and analyzing that big data need a different platform. So our traditional systems cannot support. We need more common file systems or systems like Azure or Hadoop and all those things over there. So that's why in this current context of the presentation, we only kept data related to what is database. In the database, within the Excel files, within the file, in a text file, it can be in any database over there because the data is structured in the form of tables, row and columns over there. So that is where we have the source systems. So BA should be able to understand, hey, my data is coming in the form of my row and column in a tabular format over there. So that's where I should have the source and what are the systems I have. I should be able to list down all the systems in the organizations and see what data we have within those systems. Then we can come back over there, and from there start gathering the requirements. From there, the requirements comes in. Okay, data I have, but what I want to have the result. Now there is the terms which we use like dashboard, reports, KPIs now need to give. So BA need to provide the ideas in terms of what a dashboard can be, what is a report can be to the users, so that users will be able to tell this recording has been happening within the organization. Might be possible if that's, for example, in some cases where there is no record, a BA can suggest a solution that create an Excel file and just start recording the data over there in the Excel file, or can be a text file over there. So that solution has been done. Now we are looking at what reports, dashboards, and KPIs are. So, and from there, it needs to be communicated that these dashboard reports and KPI should communicate the management's perspective that I should, am I with the dashboard KPI and reports, am I able to have the BI point of view for my business? So that is what we should be looking at. Now, when we talk about dashboard reports and KPI, it's quite a lot of times it get confused in terms of what is that. So we are going to talk about that as well. What is dashboard report and KPI? Now, when we are talking about data as the first place, this is something in this slide we cover that what a BA should be able to properly organize the data so that in the whole organization, if I say that, okay, this I'm going to I'm going to define the data. Now, all the users, all the management, all the people within an organization would be able to understand the uh, same terms. Like for example, in the legal terms, we say, hey, one sentence should communicate only one meaning. The more the meaning, it becomes contradictory. So that's where this is one of the very important aspect that from the perspective of BI projects, a BA should be able to do is how am I going to categorize my data within the organization, and I'm going to communicate, market that information, or I can have that checklist as well, or I have the recording that, okay, I am going to tell this as, let's say, operational, it's a finance data, it's a operational data, or it's a HR data, or I'm going to tell it like, okay, within I'm going to only use, rather than departmental structure, I'm going to use two categorization example like enterprise data. So data which is basically what we say is used within the organization. There are many users to it. It is shared among all the cross departments as well. So let's say we have a departmental structure and data is shared between the cross department. We can say it enterprise data so that you can govern it well. So enterprise data means like, okay, you can share within other departments. You don't need to restrict that information over there. You can you can use that data uh, multiple times. So for example, in the enterprise, like profit before tax, the data which is going to be used and shared many times across departments. So in management, operations, finance, any HR. So they all are the users of that data. So that becomes enterprise data. Operational, which is departmental use, which is like an individual use. So that is operational data. So you can actually term those informations from broader perspective within your organization that, okay, I call this data as enterprise data. Now, when I call this enterprise data, BA quickly can understand that this data will be shared and used in multiple levels. Then where do I put in my reports over there? This and or BA should call, let's say BA will, so BA need to educate and categorize and educate the users of the organization that how you are going to name this information, the data, and how you're going to categorize it. So that is individual, means like every organization can have their own terms. These are some of my examples which I have shared that if data is cross share or publicly or public data. Let's say in Department of Statistics Malaysia, they are going to publish the information. Now they have one more data, which is like this data have to be published on website. So it's a public data. So they can term it as public data, but they cannot term the data from which it is coming up after calculation as the that calculated data will be operational data over there. So that's how you can categorize your data over there. So the users also need to contribute among that with the right inputs. And then BA should be able to create a small document glossary that okay, this data I'm going to call individual data, public data, enterprise data, operational data, or I'm going to term it so that when you are doing the requirement analysis, you will be able to mark it out, mark that okay, this is uh, for example, profit before tax, you can say is enterprise. Now, uh, transactional data means like which is like you are doing the transactions like calculation of the total sales and all those things. You can say it is only sales department, so it is only operational data. So you can start marking that so that you won't share those information to other people. You know, so that's the whole objective of. So we have source system, we have data, now we have the data categorization done. Once the BA have categorized the data, it is easier for the clear communication between within the organization, within the teams over there. So it will take out a lot of discussions and all those things. You can, by saying the term, you already know that how to share that information over there. Now we come on the other hand to a second aspect. So one aspect is on the data, the second aspect is on the dashboard report and KPIs. So business analysts and other teams and other even the users and functional, they often get confused. What is KPI? You say KPI, sometimes you say report, sometimes you say dashboard. So how do I differentiate between all those three? Now, when we dashboard is basically a top view. So it is a simple key metrics. So key metrics means like you can have, let's say, for example, you can have percentage, gross profit, gross margin. It's just a one display of key metrics within the organization. So what we can say is like a single page is a white page, blank page over there, and then the single page or canvas that uses visualizations to tell the story. So dashboard is like a storyteller. So I need to in the sales department, how am how am I performing, how my sales is happening, how much sales by geography is happening. So those are my dashboards, which can tell me a story about the my department, my performance, my sales metrics, my HR metrics over there. So which can talk about like how many dashboard for the leaves over there, which can tell well, how many leaves, how many person on leave today, how many person are in office today, how many person out of office today. So those are the dashboards which can tell basically in terms of the overall metrics for the visual display. Now, what I'm doing, I'm not the main factor of differentiation between dashboard and report. I am not going to slice and dice over there. I'm just going to look at to understand. Uh, it can contain multiple reports. So a dashboard can have multiple reports. So dashboard is the basically summary over there. Then it can have more reports into it and more data sets per report. So basically a dashboard can be cross-departmental as well. Okay, every department let's say I do, for example, I'm doing the audit, and for audit, I need to have a dashboard of risk metrics for all the departments in the organization. Now, all the departments within the organization, let's say I put them a 1 to 10 rating, that high risk or low risk, 1 as the low risk, 10 as the high risk departmental statistic. So in a dashboard, I can have from date from a lot of places the information coming in and in calculation and all those things, and at the end it is telling me okay, department 9, I have 9 departments within my organization. All department, one is at a 4 risk, one it has a 5 level risk, one it has a 10 level risk, one it has a, so this is my dashboard visual display. So from the top view, management view, I can know with this department I need to focus more, I need to see why this rating is uh, at the level 10, why it is there. So I need to further investigate. So those are the things, but what I am doing, I am not filtering it. In technical terms, I am not slicing down the data. I'm just looking at the information in a matrix view in a visual display over there. So that is what we define dashboard as. Now, when we come back to reports, a report is basically visualizing the data in a different format. Now I'm further drill down, further check it out. I'm going to change the visualization structure. It can be table, can be charts, can be graphs. It can be used for much detail. You can have more pages in a report. A report can be paginated reports like you can see 100 records, so you need multiple pages over there. You can have single data set for report, or you so basically report is mainly comes from a single data set. So that's the main differentiation. This comes from a multiple data set. And data set is what is basically, let's say, one table. You can say my financial accounting data, my let's say data set B is HR data, data set C is operations data. So like that, I have multiple data sets. So one data set will give me a one report. So that is a single data set. That's key differentiation between a report over there. And then there are ways you can filter, slice, dice, check it out. You can drill down. So normally managers need those reports basically to check out, to look into the data, to see what is happening and all those things. The management mainly look at dashboards like what are the key metrics happening, where the highlights are. So to further drill down in the reports is basically where we can have one or more pages, single data set per report, and many different ways. So that's the clear differentiation between the definition of a dashboard and a report. And then comes our unit level work, where we are talking about KPI. KPI is an indicator, is a performance indicator, is only related to the one aspect, is a visual cue that communicates the amount of progress made toward a measurable goal. Now here we are looking at the overall picture. Here we are looking at a broader view. Now we are at a unit level. So KPIs. So what we call KPI. So we were discussing about source here. Now we are discussing about KPI here. So our end-to-end, the whole business analyst objective is to come in between the source and the KPIs, because KPIs is the one which is going to give a measurable goal, going to give a measure, means like calculations. For example, let's say in my report I got sales report. Then in sales report, I need a total sales for total sales by geography, like location, total sales by time, total sales by month, total sales by year, total sales by this thing. So that is my KPIs. Now those KPIs are the indicators, visual cue, which communicates the amount of progress made towards a measurable goal. So that is where we need to measure. So if BA can capture the KPIs correctly, the reports can come in place, the dashboards can come in place. So this is one of the key important aspects for the BA business analyst to measure the progress, to find out the question and answers. What am I ahead? What I'm looking for? What I need to know? What calculations? What parameters are there? So that's where the breakdown of the data is going to happen. That I have this data, what calculations I'm going to perform on that data, what KPI I'm going to come up with, and then by time, how much, by duration, how much, by basically location and all those things. So these are some questions which a BA can ask, like to measure the progress, to measure the distance to a goal. So how far ahead, how behind him. So that is what BA needs to do in terms of identifying the KPIs, identifying the report requirements and a dashboard requirement from the three kind of various users in terms of like on an operational level, on management level, and then the person can organize the requirement in a format where the developer can understand or an engineer can understand to create those requirements, deliver those requirements over there. So that is why we kept this topic in terms of two important aspects which BA should have clarity is on the source or my KPIs. So if I understand the KPIs well, or sometimes it happens that source doesn't exist or data doesn't exist, but KPI is there, then you can go and populate the data. You can ask, you can nominate the users to fill in those information and can populate that data over there. So that is what the difference between the uh, dashboard, report, and KPIs, and the categorization of data. If you are able to do that well, you can have the clarity in terms of how my BI project is going to deliver, how my BI project, what can be my outcomes of the BI project. And then it will save a lot of time for an engineer or developer to come up with something and show you something at the end of the day. You don't want that or you want that. So it's like a risk. So now to mitigate that risk, if we have this structure of the data, okay, we categorize the data, then we capture the requirement, and then we go for dividing that from the data perspective, that what my KPI is going to be, what my reports going to be, what my dashboard going to be, then that will be a very clear communication, that will bring a clear communication to the developers and engineers over there to work on. So now what we say, like, okay, to further elaborate more, I understand as a BA, I got, okay, I need to look into the source, I need to look into the functions, I need to look into the data. Now I understand how to categorize my data. I understand how I have to, I am going to come up with the list of the KPIs. And then from that list of KPIs, I can come up with a list of reports. I can come up with a list of dashboards, and I can find where the data lies. So all those aspects I understand. Now what I need to do, I need to further categorize, further structure it from the perspective of the requirements. Now requirement within an organization within a company can be customer oriented. Let's say I'm only looking at customers. So are these customers, I'm looking at my business, let's say my business runs from the customer perspective, or my business runs from the organizational perspective, right? So it's within the organization. For example, let's say government, let's say we talk about government, or let's say rail transport. So that runs from the operational efficiency perspective, that you have to run the machine properly, you have to run it on time and all those things, or manufacturing something. So is it running from the organizational perspective or customer perspective? Or it depends more on those, like how is the employee perspective from the business? What is a product related perspective, territory related, location related perspective? So I need to understand as a BA that this whole business context, the whole business runs from which perspective, and from that perspective the management view comes in. So if I'm focused on customers, then my management view is completely a customer focused view, and how to improve efficiency, how to improve customer deliveries, how to improve customer benefits, and how to improvise, how to increase margins from the customer sales. So those kind of things, management view will be there. Then you can structure the departmental view. You can structure the financial requirements. Finance department is a, I would say, is a looks tough, but it's more straightforward. It's very clean, because the whole structure is followed. The financial practices are standard within a country. So that's where finance is pretty straightforward in terms of the KPIs, reports, and dashboards, which are all there listed out. Now, from the aspect of operations, marketing, HR, and other procurement and other departments is where the business unique value comes in, because all businesses have their own unique value and own value chain to bring the product or product in the market, service in the market. So that's where from the top down approach, where we are talking about this top down approach of the organization. So this one top down approach, it can be strategic, functional, or down to operational. Now we are looking into the structure of the organization. So based on this organizational perspective, it will help in terms of governing the data, governing the source, governing the KPIs, reports and dashboards. So there are a lot of management reports, departmental reports, financial reports, operational reports, marketing, HR and IT reports, or IT issuance, or let's say for procurement, purchase, or for inventory reports. So those things are basically we need to understand, we need to segregate and structure. If a BA can structure all this in a one place, it will become a very nice document, and which any engineer or BI developer will be able to understand pretty clearly that okay, what he need to give the outcome as well. So that is what a BA have to from the two ends source and KPIs. Now you are structuring over there. So actually in broader terms it's like source and KPIs, but now we are organizing that reports and dashboards in it from the perspective of the organization, company, or company's customer, or company employees, or company products or services, or company's territory over there. So that's where a BA should organize the information over there. Then we have this uh, purpose as well. So one of the things which I would like to add for a business analyst, that should be able to identify the purpose. What is my purpose? What is the purpose of the organization or company to over there in terms of I have to gather the requirement or reports or information for doing the BI, so which can lead to the uncover the requirements. So, once you have the organization structure, so previously we have the organizational structure, our management inputs, our uh, external market forces also depends. For example, change in the policy. Now, pandemic brings a lot of change. That's one of the closest market example that this have changed the whole way of working. It brings a new way of working in place. It picks. So those are the external market forces which can create a regulation, which can create competition, or let's say your competitor is giving a better value at a lower cost. How is it depends on he has a better skills or manpower in place, or he has better systems or softwares in place, or applications or better machines in place. So it's all need to have those aspect and perspective which you also can capture and populate a simple Excel sheet and use that to bring your own BI in terms of in your own reports, that hey, what my competitors are also doing, let me see that. So this a lot of information is available which can be utilized over there, or how other countries are doing, how other uh, systems are doing. So that need to learn and populate that information or data into our system. So BA can also, let's say, from the when we talk about customer perspective or competition perspective, BA can come up with some information from outside as well, which even the internal employees have those information outside over there. So you can add that as a competitive report or competitive dashboard over there for your within your organization, which can help you out. Mostly for finance it's not required, because that they are very straightforward and structured systems in place. For other thing which gives the brings the value to the company or organization, which is required over there, then this remember one the most important thing, PI can be an eye opener. You can lot of times you don't know what is happening, and BI can uncover that area. I'm going to give you an example, very simple example and practical example using one of the tool Power BI, that how this can uncover the information which you may not have looked around or may not have tried in. Most of you may also be aware of and know it, but this, if from the BA perspective, a BA should be able to understand that how I'm going to use that data to give better information to my users or employees or management over there. So that can help a business analyst to understand that how BI systems also work. So you should have some touch of that as well. So a BA, let's say for example, you are using a finance system, you have accounting data. Do you know how many new customers you acquire? How many customers by year you acquire? For answering these kind of questions is like finance can give that result that hey, or other teams can give that result. Hey, once I have that answer, what I can do, I can, let's say I want my customer to stay for number of years, 5 years, 3 years, or average. I can set a KPI. If I don't have this data, how many customers I acquire or how many customer stays for how many years in past, I cannot come up with an average or some result or my ambition that what is my wish list as a management person that, hey, this customer should stay with me for 5 years at least, at average 5 years. So I will do all my things, I'll run my business from that perspective that my customer should stay for that many years, or every year how many new customers I should gather. So I'll move to one of the Excel sample, which I have drafted out from this example to showcase you uh, over there in the Excel sheet. So that becomes like it can gives more idea and more progress to the organization. Before that, I'll cover this aspect as well. That now to answer those questions and all like improvements in BI, it can help you. The whole BI system can help you uncover a lot of information. So that purpose I need to understand from as a BA. I need to understand the whole organizational purpose, because purpose is the one which can lead to the results. So that is which is very important aspects. That's why I've touched base that topic over there. Then now comes the time where BA can understand the purpose. BA understands the uh, source and KPIs. BA understand the dashboard report and all those things. What as a BA I understand the purpose. Now I have to start doing the activity. Now I have to go on the ground, gather the information, ask the interviews, assess the information over there, and then you should be able to analyze the, then once you interview, you collect data, you analyze the historic events, you analyze the examples of the events for that time among these deltas, then you will be able to come up and uncover those aspects. So for a BA, basically when you meet the users can be an opening question, let's say management, hey, you have any unforeseen event happened previously, or which have created your interest to go into a BI project or BI related activities? When did your company have to adjust its plan to unforeseen events, which we have recently also seen that all the companies have to adjust their plans in last 2 years. Then when and how was the last time your company was taken by surprise? So that's a surprise. Now surprise comes, and how I'm going to react. A lot of companies in pandemic have closed down because they don't know how to react or change, or they started waiting for things to get normalized. But a lot of companies have taken up and overcome that, and a lot of companies have performed better in that situation as well. So it all depends on, like for example, there is a lot of job loss. Now, job loss happens because you don't have the skills to overcome those unforeseen events. So even as an individual, are you prepared enough to see the unforeseen events? So those things are there which needs to be otherwise if people are working where the businesses are running, where is there's no need for job loss and all those things. So those all situations happens when the overall market is shaken by the surprise. And so that is one of the example, recent example. Apart from that, some examples for like that. Hey, now the new regulation comes in. You have to report these things, and which can increase when government direction comes in. Government changes the direction, or government change the direction change from GST to SST to GST, and then we all know in the finance team that how much trouble it comes in the whole compliance, and then some some people are sitting in front that, hey, now you have a penalty coming in because you have not complied to the rules and regulation. So are we really ready? Do we have the system in place to handle our surprises? So those are the things which BA need to actually uncover and make my organization more weatherproof, more shock proof. So that is why we do all this activity in terms of to improve and make the strength, improve the strength of the organization over there. So that's where BA should interview those questions. Uh, but normally what happens, BA just go get the requirement and they come up with reports only. So that is something which is a half cooked result. So that they should be able to come up with all the aspects where they can improvise the organization in all. So that's where the purpose have to be defined very the objective have to be given, the resources and the project, the things have to be captured, gathered in such a manner that it should give a strength to the organization and uncover the weakness. So when you uncover the weakness within an organization, you will be able to create the solution for it. You will be able to get the answers. You will be able to solve that weak issues, and you can, and that's where you improve your situation to be ready for the unforeseen events. So those are the things which BA should do. So, and then second aspect, this is to look for from the past. Now, from the future perspective, BA should be able to uh, find out the question and answers like technology. Now, a lot of places we are using the technology which is obsolete. So if one day it goes down, we don't know what to do. Data loss, then we don't know what to do. Are we prepared for it or not? So the technology you use for your sales become obsolete in 1 to 2 years. So I'm still using it. Am I prepared for upgrading it or not? Am I doing any preventive measures, or am I migrating to another solution or software or not? So those things have to be answered as well. So then so another thing is like using the right tools and technology. Am I using the right tools and technology? For example, let's say we compare a BI tool with Excel. Excel is performing at its best in terms of reporting, pivoting, and all those things. But a BI tool can do the same job in less time. Now, for example, if an employee is working and let's say an employee use Excel and take 1 day to come up with a report. With the BI, that employee only use 1 hour. You are going to save 7 hours of the cost of that employee salary, overheads, and work, and the employee can work in some other place. So if you look from that perspective, the technology is an enabler to increase the skills of the people, to enable the performance of the business, because you save that cost of another 6 or 7 hours, and that cost can be uh, is an indirect cost which you don't see. So even for IT companies, basically we are using like old desktop. I on the system, then I go and have tea and coffee. I come back. Why don't I use the Mac? Mac, you on the system, you don't even blink. The system is in front of you and you have to start working. So you don't have, you are not wasting the time, productive time of the organization, which you are paid for. So is finance team evaluating that? Is procurement team looking into that aspect, that the tools, the equipments, the things which I buy, are they obsolete or they are performing slow? So those are the things which a BA should be able to come up with the aspects, come up with the points. See, people go and look for, hey, I look for a, let's say I go and buy consumer laptop. Why there are the laptops or machines are like, for example, ID machine. Now, if I buy a consumer laptop and BI developer is working on the consumer laptop, the BI developer will take 10 days to come up with a report, and in between he loads the tool, he will sleep over there and come back. So such a loss of productive time. So those things have to be highlighted while preparing for the plans for the BI projects, that we should be able to have the right tools and technologies. We should not be using something which is not, which is an obstruction. So, and another example, let's say you buy a very good tool, pay pay highly for it, but you use a laptop which is like 5 years old, and the laptop cannot accommodate. So you click, it takes time. That time is a loss of time and loss of cost and money over there. So that all things have to be taken care, which for that kind of thing you can even survey, you can even evaluate, you can even evaluate your equipments. So do you have that equipment evaluation report, means like your machinery report, that my people are using those machineries are updated or not, preventive maintenance, corrective maintenance, all those are happening or not. So those things are quite important from a business operational perspective, because if you are operationally not competitive, then somebody else in the market will take that competition and go ahead and grow further. So those are the things which a BA, business analyst, can interview, ask the questions, come up with the points, come up with the report, come up with the data and suggestions and for improvement. So because you now, for example, if I'm using a 5-year-old laptop, I know my weakness, because I cannot prepare a dashboard in 2 days, and I'm using an old laptop, because it takes, like, for me to query the data, it will take 2 hours. It will take 2 hours, then I can, the time loss is there. Now, the time loss is a man-day cost, which is more expensive than a system. So am I doing that or not? So am I looking from that perspective or not? So those are the things which we have to ask. We have to see how we can, small things can uh, collaborate to make a bigger problem. So we have to go from top down, top to bottom, to understand that what my machinery, my things, my resources, my strategic capability of the organization is supporting the better performance or not. So that is what a BA, because BA is going to bring the change as well, and over there. So that's where things will change. Now I'll come more on hands-on side in terms of the BA, that you got questions, you gather the understanding, you got requirement, you got things in hand, uh, you got questions. Now you start documenting. You have to start documenting in terms of the BI, in terms of the things where I should be able, as a BA, I should be able to document, to give the explanation and a clear communication to a developer or an engineer or the IT team, that how, what I want. So for example, if BA goes and interview sales team, that he can define a number, he can put this as a use case. So what you have gathered, you put this as a use case, you can give a number to it, you can define that, okay, I would like to see the total sales. You can have a precondition that I should have a data which is coming from accounting system or a sales system, or it's a weekly basis, or when it is coming in, how I'm getting the data and what kind of source I need. So my source is, let's say, accounting system software. Give the name, exact name and details of that, because even the accounting system, I would like what BA should do. BA should find out the table exactly that I'm going to use the invoice table, so that my developer doesn't waste time. Normally what happens, I've seen where BA or the hey, you go to accounting system, find out, give me total sales. Now a developer will go and find out, will waste another 2 hours, will spend 2 hours to find out that from where, because a finance person who is using on day-to-day basis understand that, hey, I capture sales with this column. So it should be defined properly that sales capture should be from this column, and you should be able to calculate, so that the person will be more efficient at the development level. So that's where an IT person should get those information. So that's where the KPIs, the uh, the this person BA should be able to define what is my expected outcome, what is this use case all about, then where the data is, and what's the accounting system, what's the where the data exactly lying in, let's say, this table, what I expect to see for the from the user perspective, what my KPI is, what my report is, what my dashboard is, should be able to KPI report and dashboard able to define by time. By time also, I will say that must be BA should be able to define by time means like by month, by year, by financial year, by calendar year. So everything have to be properly translated and listed in a structured manner so that because everything needs a calculation. You want to calculate total sales by month. It is a different formula. By year is a different formula. By financial year is a different formula. Let's say you're doing business in 4 countries. Your all the formulas will change. So that formula need to be captured over here and should be able to define that, okay, what is the formula going to be there to calculate that. Then an engineer can come up with the report and that so this last is frequency of the data. Is it coming daily, weekly? You need a monthly report, you need a weekly report, you need a daily report. So I'll take this example and I'll show you some how a BA can also, when he's gathering the requirement or preparing something, can do it and ask questions to the users and able to come up with what can be the possibilities and how it can be an eye opener. So I have what I have done over here. I have actually taken some of the sample of the data. So sample of the data, basically I have done some uh, normally in an accounting system, when you create the invoice or you generate for the sales part, you capture the invoices or you release the invoice to a customer. These are the information which are available in an accounting system like date, document number, customer number, sales rep, due date of the invoice, payment to collect, amount which is exclusive amount, the sales amount, tax which you have charged. Some of the things are taxable, some are not taxable. So I can say then total selling. So these are the things which are actually available in a system. So to showcase, let's say BA should showcase that kind of example. Can take okay, then take the example of accounting system, take out this information, sample information, create some samples. So I can even create this one as like if I have to add some more like transactional data, so I can create another we take it like 25th. So I can have this data. Now when this data is available, then I can go to into a tool like Power BI. So So this one how Power BI looks like, Power BI desktop and all. So this one is free tool available. You can download, you can use it. As a BA should be able to use free because it's a tool which you are not publishing, sharing, and all those information. So you have filters here, you have visualization parameters here, you have fields here. So what you have to do is you have to go to get data and Excel workbook. And you can select this workbook and then you can open. It will ask you to load. You can see in my Excel I have created two tables. One is invoice, one is BA invoice. So BA invoice I'll discuss slightly later. First I'll show you this that okay. So I captured the information. At the moment I gathered the invoice information, I bring this table. This one is my future table. So I will load this data and my data will come over here. So I can see my data here. So if you want to see, I can see my data, this one. Okay. So my accounting system data comes in. I got the date, I got document number, customer, sales, due date, exclusive amount, tax, and total selling. So it doesn't have the recent information which I have just uploaded. So what I have to do, I have to go back here and I can refresh. Once I refresh, I'll get my data here. 25th February, today I raised an invoice to this and something over there. Now what I'm going to use this data is for, I'm going to make a chart of it. So I'll create some chart. I can bring this customer names. So my customer names comes in picture, and I can quickly bring the total amount sold. I just click here. So what happens if I am able to show this thing to my finance users that, hey, you have this information in place. Now what I need to know from my this data is that have I collected the payment or not, or have I uh, uh, are these new customers or old customers new? I term this new customer and old customer, let's say my definition. My definition for new and existing customer is some customer who signed up with me in 2022. This is my new customer, who is in 2021 my existing customer. So if existing customer I'm selling something from 21, I'm moving to a new customer. So how do I get this kind of information? Because my data doesn't have this data, which I have, it doesn't have the new and old. So if so, one object from the BA perspective, from its I'll give the idea next in next slide. From developer perspective, he can capture, the engineer can use the calculation from the dates and can show you new and old, new and existing. But from the perspective of what BA can do, what BA can simply go and copy this table over here, right? And simply go and create another table for the analysis purpose. So analysis purpose, what I'm doing here, what we have done as a BA, what I'll do, I'll take this data, I will categorize. So I have categorized in initial when I'm studying, when I'm preparing that I need to categorize my data, I need to put it up. Now I categorize this sales happen for product, this sales happen for service, this sales happen for product service, or the sale, let's say maintenance, right? And this is a new customer or existing. I can just see on the date, okay, sample. So if, okay, this is new customer, right? Payment, no. So what I'll do, I can give this kind of insight in this kind of report to the uh, IT team that I need that kind of outcome. This one is a dummy. This one is dummy means like is to be deleted, not to be used by IT. But this is for the visual representation for a better communication from the to the IT team, and to also to a better communication to the users that this is the outcome you are going to have. So let's say if I use this over here, then I can simply uh, go back, refresh, and I can check my tables. I will go and rather than this, I will use this table and I can check out. Okay, now, sorry, now I have the data here. So I got categories, I got acquired, new customer, existing customer, I got payment status here. So might be possible payment status you are tracking into another table. But for visualization purpose, for confirming the requirement from the user, a BA can use this kind of manual method to quickly come up with a report to see that, hey, are you looking at this thing? So I will go over here and what I'll do, I can simply, rather than this table, I can simply use this another table. Now I can bring my customer over here. So I can bring my customer, I can bring this customer over here. So if you'll see my report, this one I will take it down. So if I take my customers over here, year of acquisition, is it a new or old? And then I would like to put like payment collected, no or yes. So that is one of the things which I can do. I can copy this one. What I can do rather than this, I can check this one. I can take this out. I want to let's say date. And what I'll do, I'll take take this count. Now I know in my 2021 I got 2 customers, and 2022 I got 2 new customers, right? So that those kind of things can be done over here. Now I would like to put that in our data where we have this acquire type, right? New and existing. What I'll do, I'll put this acquire type over here. So let me see acquire type. So if I keep only the don't summarize, I know is it existing customer or new customer, right? Then I can, if I take the count, is as simple as that. So 2022, then I can if I want to rename this, I can rename this as well over here. Okay, right. Okay, total new customer over here. So these are the things which basically BA can do over there and come up with the analysis. Then another like payment status. So you know the payment. You can group by here. You can group by here and you can check. You can visualize faster. So you can see by year. So I know by year who is missing, who is not missing. So you can do that. So this should be this is the capability of the tools as well, which are available nowadays, which can tell. So so in what we as a BA, what we the BA have done over here, he categorized, he tagged the data with the for the existing data. Now from your finance data, from your current finance data, you are able to find out how many new customers I have, how many existing customers I have, how many products I sold, how many oh, like this one due date, payment, category. So I can bring the category in this. So I can categorize by products. I can see my product sales over there. So I can see my product, this one, what is the amount, total amount, what is the count, all those things by product, count by product. So I have so many combinations coming in, count of product by the year, total sales of the product by the year, total sales of the service by the year, maintenance by the year, total customers in one of the product. So by product by customer. So I can come up with a lot of combinations over here. They should be then. These are the KPIs which BA should be able to give to the IT team over here, and using the help of Power BI, he can elaborate further. So if he has little bit knowledge in terms of like basic Power BI, just to bring down manually at the data and showcase to the user can imagine, this is how it's going to help me out in the information and all those things. So that is what we I have covered in terms of the use case. So BA should start from understanding the source and data, categorize the data, prepare the use case, give that kind of use case, and he can actually capture this as a screenshot over there and put it in as an additional document over here for the visualization purpose, for the confirmation from the users and confirmation from the IT in the understanding. So once that BA do this kind of activity, the project will run very smoothly, and the users at the end will be like users will get the benefit. They know what they're going to get. IT team know what they have to do. So that's where the complete role of the BA should come in picture, and able to translate that into a complete possible improvement within the organization over there. So that's there some of the deliverables which BA can look for. This one BA can prepare like situational analysis, purpose of the BI project, stakeholder metrics, business requirements, project management constraints, scope of the project, data requirements. This this should be like these kind of list or deliverables should be there by a BA person is there. So that is from my side today for workshop.